Today's challenge is to design and make a toy from scrap wood using a scroll saw. To start the process of making our toys, we have prepared two designs. The first design is a bird that will be developed in a way that will allow it to flap its wings. So we cut out that design and prepare for sticking the design onto the wood itself. The other design that we are developing is a fishing boat that is bobbing up and down on the waves. Once again, we have pre-prepared all of our designs and we stick them down onto the wood itself. We then wait for this design to dry out and proceed across to the pillar drill, where we drill out any holes that are necessary for making these designs. We're actually using a slightly larger drill bit than in many of our demonstrations, and the reason for this, we're going to be working with wooden dowel. Again, this is something as the process goes on we'll demonstrate how to do. But we drill those holes in the different parts of the design in preparation for making both toys. Stack cutting is a method that we use time and time again. It allows us to be more efficient and more productive in our process of making. The preferred method that we use is to super glue in the parts of the wood that will not actually be cut out, the layers together, and then proceed to cut that out on the scroll saw itself. So on the scroll saw, we start off on our bird design and we're cutting out the main body of our birds. So that's right around the profile of our bird body. We then go across to the workbench and we work out the gap that we're going to need in the body of the bird, the size, the width, the shape, that will allow us later on to add the two wings to the body and then the dowel to secure them in position to complete the design. Once again, we use those methods of drilling a hole using the pillar drill. We then go back across to our scroll saw and cut that recess that will allow the wings to slide into the gap after we've finished the design. When it comes to the scroll sawing then, we are using a thicker piece of wood. However, for this one, we're using a piece of softwood, less demanding on the blade. So our Nikwa Speed number 9 reverse tooth blade is still suitable for cutting this wood because it is softer and less demanding on the blade itself. Once we have completed the basic work on the body of the bird, we proceed across to our fishing boat and we cut the pierce work out first of all, as well as the outline for the entire design. After working on the scroll saw, we proceed across to our belt sander and start shaping the main body of the first toy once more in the form of the bird. We get a basic outline then for the bird using the belt sander, refining that process, and then move across to using our hand carving skills to shape both the bottom and the top of the birds. So what we're trying to do is to modify the shape and give it a little bit more character by rounding off the body, the tail, and the head itself. In between times, we are then using the hand carving skills once more to add more detail. So for example, the beak, the tail feathers, and the eyes of the birds. All the time then, this refines what we are doing and adds extra character to the projects. Similarly then, with our boat design, we work on getting the outline shape of the boat itself and adding a few little details, as well as thinning down the piece on the bottom of the boat, which will be crucial to getting the entire design to work effectively. Back over to the scroll saw, and we are creating a box that will house the mechanism for this design. So the shape of the box will have waves along the top. We also cut out a wheel that will be added to the front of the box, and this can be turned to allow the boat to bob up and down on the waves. We cut out small pieces of wood that will be added to the middle of the front and the back of our box. And the crucial part to this design is an egg-shaped piece that will sit underneath the boat, allowing it to bob up and down on the waves. Back across to our first design, and we cut out on the scroll saw the shape of the wings. We then move on to the belt sander, and we use the attachment on the side to round everything off, refine the finish, take off any sharp edges that are left on the design. We also shape a little bit the wings and the other parts of the design. We're taking off the paper that we've originally added to each part of the two toys. Now, as we mentioned earlier, a crucial part of both toys is making dowel. So the way we do this, we make a piece of wood, we thin it down and start it off as a squared off piece. We then use the hammer to force it through a metal circle, and this turns it into a rounded off dowel. From here, we proceed back across to the workbench and we begin putting together our fishing boat on the waves design. So those 4 pieces of wood we stick in position. We use that piece in the middle of the fishing boat to work out where the 2 top pieces go. We also then add the egg-shaped piece into the middle of the design and then add the wheel to the front of the mechanism. We also put a little piece of dowel in that wheel on the front, and this allows us to turn the wheel that will create that effect of the boat bobbing up and down on the water. Back across to our bird design, and we add those 2 pieces of dowel to the body of our birds. You will notice that to do these cuts, we are working with the tenon saw. One thing it is worth highlighting is when it comes to the wings of the birds and the holes in the box of our mechanism, we've drilled these more wide than the dowel, allowing the movement that we require in these designs. Onto the finishing, and we add 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer, rubbing it down in between each coat, a final layer of linseed oil mixed with beeswax. This is an optional extra that we feel adds an extra sheen to our product. However, it isn't necessary because the shellac is a sealer in its own right. Just to demonstrate what the 2 toys can do, our bird design can flap its wings freely and happily, and our fishing boat is bobbing up and down on the waves.
We need everyone's help now to vote, and you can vote boat or bird. Simple as that.
If you want to have a go at making those projects yourself, use the link in the description. We put all sorts of scroll saw designs on our website. They're there for free for you to use. If you're new here and you like what you see as well, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you know when we upload another video. And as always, thank you again for watching.